Hi, my place is very messy. My desk is very messy right now, but I'm keeping it real. I just want to show you what I've been doing. I decided let me tackle some mixed media project. So I tackled the Spellbinders 3D embossing folders. And also I was using watercolors. I was using a watercolor palette like this, and I used it on this first one here. And this is Beautiful Blooms by Spellbinder. Now, this is my first attempt, honestly, at coloring like this with watercolors. And this is just on regular paper. It's not watercolor paper, but you know, I put it under some stuff and it kind of was straightening out. But it was very crooked, and only because I was holding on to it really tight, you know, trying to get, I was using the smallest brush I could find, a very small tip. In fact, it came with the pan of watercolors, and I was in there trying to, I know nothing about shading or anything. So the dark areas just came out dark because I happened to dip into the pan at that point. Okay, so, but I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's going to be cut down, and it's going to be a card, you know. It'll say hugs or something like that. And one of my sisters will be getting this. So I just need to cut it to a regular size. I think I did like, I cut this to the size of the embossing folder, which is like 5.5 by 8.5. So it's really large, but it's beautiful. Look, I'll get you close. Isn't that pretty? I love it. I absolutely love it. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And then I did this one. Now this was on watercolor paper, and look, it's still, it came out very, you know, it's very, well, it actually goes like this way, but I messed up when I put it in the folder, so I flipped it around this way. And I didn't get the edge in very well, so I'm gonna put like a ribbon here. Now, this was kind of light because I used those pans, but then I started using the tubes. So I have tubes of paint. So I started using the tubes, you know, put a little bit, and I put the little bit on a piece of, you know, wrapping. This is like wrapping from, you know, like a 12 by 12 packet. I cut it down, and then all I do is I put a little bit of paint there. Okay, so I don't have to dirty a pan or do anything. I just let it dry and throw it away. Okay, so so I did that, and they came out brighter. Like, look at this. Look at how deep that is. And this is turquoise. Look how, you know, look how pretty that is. And it even came out darker here than here. So I really love this because of the intensity of the color versus this one. Okay. Some of you may like the lighter, but I just love this. Okay. So anyway, so I did that one. And then I did one more on the watercolor paper. So this is watercolor paper. It's it already comes, it's here, Strathmore card. There's Strathmore cards that come with the envelope. So that's what this one is. And then I did this one again. I did this, the same one, it's this one, but I did it on a larger paper, so there's more of it. And I colored it. Now this, I colored it with something else because I was just, you know, checking things out, and I remembered I have this box of what I thought were Crayolas. I honestly thought these neocolors were Crayola crayons, and I've been using them as Crayolas. I've been using to color. But then I saw where people used them, that they called them neocolor watercolors. And so I thought they said crayons on them. And it just says neocolor. So I thought they were, you know, like Crayola crayons. But no, they're watercolor base. So all you do is you get one And again, I just use this, and you just color on here. I just put a bunch, about that much on here, okay? And then I add water from my brush and swirl it around, and that's your color. And so I did this, which is sort of in between. It's not as dark as the pan, but it's not as light as the pans, okay? Now this one I did with the tube, because it's this one. I just love the color so much I brought it over here. But other than this one flower, they're all with the neocolors, with these. And so I'm like, that's cool. Then after I finished it, I was looking for more violets. I was going to do like violet shades. So I found that one. I found this one's in the violet family. Then I ventured into pink because I couldn't find any. Then I remembered, hey, I bought a box of 200 of these different colors. There's 200 colors, I think, that Neocolor makes. But it's not here. It's up on top of one of my curio cabinets, you know, because it's a big, gigantic box. I mean, the box is like from here to over here. It's huge in a big square. Then it opens real elegantly. It's real pretty. So I do have more of these, okay? So that means I conquered using watercolor pans and these, the watercolor tubes, okay? And then I also used these. Now, the one thing I didn't conquer, maybe you all can help me, is what is it called? Pancake or cake or something for the Big Shot to use with the Spellbinders. I used it with my Hot Shot and I put it in there, and it was too tight. It didn't break it, but it was too tight, and it just curled up the top plate that I had in there, okay? That is where I got this one. That's why it came out perfect, okay? So then I thought, well, maybe it's a big kick. Maybe the big kick's too little, better bring out my Big Shot. So I brought out the Big Shot, and I watched videos, and people said you put it on the embossing plate. On the embossing thing, you open it up, you put it where it says embossing, you only use one of the clear plates, and you put the embossing folder. Well, if I do that, it just runs right through. I mean, there's no emboss, okay? So I'm like, that can't be it. I've got to add something. Well, I add the bottom plate, and it's too thick. It won't go through. Okay, well, let me try the magic mat instead of a plate. It's thinner. Nope, it won't go. It's too thick. So I'm having problems. I don't want to like go out and buy another machine specifically by Spellbinders that embosses, and they do have one, because I've got that. I even tried that small little thing that just embosses. I think it's by sizzix. It does nothing but take embossing folders, and it was too small. The opening has to be like 5.5, and I don't think it is, so it wouldn't fit. So there's my dilemma. I'm stuck. I'm trying to use it. There it is right there at the end of the table. And, I was just frustrated. I kept on matching it with different things, and it would not work. I think I'm going to try just adding layers of paper, just regular paper to the top of the clear plate. So I'm going to open it up and put it on number 1, which I think is embossed. And then I'm going to use the folder with the piece of paper in it, of course, a clear plate, and then I'm going to try adding paper, okay, to it. Maybe I'll have to use 3 sheets of paper, but I'm going to add paper to give it some tension. So if any of you guys have the secret recipe to that, let me know, because all I have the majority of Spellbinders. I belong to the monthly kit, not for embossing, but for small die and stamp. And so I get them at the discount, and they alert me when they're having one of their big sales. So I happen to have a lot of embossing folders that Spellbinders actually are the most expensive out there. They're like $19. an embossing folder. And sometimes $14.99, and most of the time $14.99, but sometimes they're $19. And I got these at like $3. Okay, so I had to, you know, $3.99 at the most. So I bought a bunch of them. So I have like a lot. Okay, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful things. And I bet that they would emboss really nice if I could get it to my machine to work. So please, if you're listening, give me some strategies, or what do you use? I even tried the magic mat, and it won't go through with that. It's too thick. So it has to be not as thick as a magic mat, but a little bit thinner to give me some friction there to, you know, to get it through. Otherwise it just like goes right through. Like I don't even need to turn it. It just slides right through. So anyway, need your help for that. But I did want to show you this because one of my goals for this year was to make cards. I have a large family and I would love to make them cards, and I prefer watercolor to pencil, and I prefer watercolor to Copic markers. I have both. I have a lot of pencils and I have a lot of Copic markers, but I prefer this. This is so much fun. So yeah, just wanted to come on here to talk to you about this, my latest project. Thank you. Bye.